Did you know that in Alaska, the ground is on fire right now, has been burning invisibly underground for thousands of years, and you can walk across it without knowing? Or that there is a perfectly round hole sitting in Alaska that scientists have been staring at for 60 years and still cannot explain? How about the fact that Alaska has a river that runs the color of milk and turns electric turquoise in sunlight? Because a glacier upstream is actively grinding a mountain into dust. Alaska is not just a state. It is the most extreme, most violent, most geologically impossible piece of land on the North American continent. So settle in, because we are about to reel off 25 of the wildest facts about Alaska that you probably never knew. Stick around to the very end, because we have saved a bonus fact, so catastrophically documented, so exhaustively investigated, and so completely without resolution that it will make you question whether you actually know this state at all. You are not going to want to miss it. Fata 25. On a clear day in Alaska, you can watch entire cities rise out of the ocean that do not exist. Standing on the shore of Cook Inlet on a cold, clear morning, you look out across the water, and slowly, impossibly, a gleaming skyline of towers rises above the horizon. Skyscrapers, dozens of them, floating above open ocean where there is nothing for 100 miles. Then they shift, they stretch, they flip upside down, they dissolve back into nothing. This is called Fata Morgana, named after the Arthurian sorceress said to conjure phantom castles to lure sailors to their deaths. Here is what is actually happening. Cold, dense air sits trapped beneath a layer of warm air near the surface. Light rays from distant mountains bend so severely as they pass through this temperature boundary that they are projected upward into the sky, creating vivid, towering, photographic images of things that are nowhere near where you are standing. Ships appear to sail upside down above the water. Islands become cathedrals. Mountain ranges become city skylines. Alaska's geography makes it one of the finest places on Earth to witness this. It has caused shipwrecks. It almost certainly gave birth to the legend of the Flying Dutchman, and it happens on perfectly clear days to people who have absolutely no idea what they are looking at. You can film it. You can photograph it. It looks completely fake. It is not fake. Welcome to Alaska. Fact 24. There is a perfectly round hole in Alaska that scientists cannot explain after 60 years of trying. From the air, Savanowski Crater in Katmai National Park looks like something colossal punched clean through the earth from above. A perfect circle. 1,600 feet wide and 360 feet deep, half filled with dark water, sitting on a sandstone ridge with no geological explanation for how it got there. Scientists have been staring at it since the 1960s. Here is what they have ruled out. Meteorite. No debris, no shocked rock, no meteoritic material of any kind has ever been found. Volcano. No magma source, no volcanic structures anywhere nearby. The best theory is that glaciers during the last ice age scoured away every piece of evidence of whatever catastrophically created this hole. Scientists agree it was either a rock from space or a violent underground explosion. They just cannot prove which one. A perfect, silent, water-filled circle in Alaska, with no explanation. Almost nobody knows it exists. Fact 23. The ground in Alaska is on fire. It has been burning for thousands of years. In parts of interior Alaska, ancient peat deposits, compressed organic material dozens of feet thick, have been smoldering silently underground for centuries. Here is how it works. Lightning strikes the surface and the peat ignites, but peat does not burn like wood. It burns slowly, invisibly, deep underground, fed by its own carbon-dense mass. It cannot be drowned by rain. It cannot be smothered. It just keeps going, releasing slow, steady heat up through the soil above it. In winter, Snow melts in perfect, eerie circles on the surface, where the heat rises from below. You can walk across a frozen Alaskan landscape and be standing directly over a fire that has been burning since before the Roman Empire existed. The ground in Alaska is not always what it appears to be. Fact 22. 2 miles below the Alaskan Ocean, scientists found something alive that nobody on Earth can identify. In August 2023, a NOAA robot submarine was scanning the dark seafloor of the Gulf of Alaska when the camera caught something that made the entire crew go silent. A smooth, golden, dome-shaped object, 4 inches across, was clinging to a rock 2 miles below the surface. No sunlight, near freezing water, crushing pressure. They sent the robotic arm to touch it. Soft, fleshy, biological. They collected it and brought it to the surface. Scientists gathered around it in the lab and still could not identify it. Not a sponge, not coral, not any egg casing in any known database. They were not even sure what phylum it belonged to, what basic kingdom of animal life. It was sent to the Smithsonian Institution. It is still there, still unnamed. Something alive, or recently alive, that nobody on Earth has ever encountered before. 2 miles below the surface of Alaska, sitting in a lab with no name. Scientists called it the Golden Orb. That is the most specific they could get. Fact 21. The sun does not set in Alaska for 84 straight days. At Utqiagvik on Alaska's north slope, the sun rises in mid-May and does not set again until late July. 84 consecutive days of blazing, relentless, inescapable daylight. The sky never goes dark. People hang blackout curtains, lose track of time completely, and report a creeping psychological unraveling that builds over weeks. Then winter arrives. The sun disappears on November 18th and does not rise again until January 23rd. 66 days of total impenetrable darkness. No sunrise, no sunset, no natural light of any kind. Same place, same planet. 2 months of endless sun followed immediately by 2 months of no sun at all. Alaska does not just have extreme weather, it has extreme reality. Most of us can barely handle a rainy afternoon. Fact 20. The most powerful earthquake ever recorded in North America happened in Alaska, and it altered the rotation of the planet. On March 27, 1964, a magnitude 9.2 earthquake struck Prince William Sound. It lasted 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Read that again. Nearly 5 minutes of continuous, violent, catastrophic shaking. It raised parts of the Alaskan coastline by 38 feet in seconds and dropped others by 8 feet. Entire old-growth forests were permanently submerged. The tsunami it triggered killed people in Crescent City, California, 2,200 miles away. Waves were detected as far as Antarctica. But here is the part that makes geologists go genuinely quiet. The earthquake shifted so much mass so suddenly that it measurably changed the wobble of the Earth's rotation. One earthquake, in Alaska, altered how the planet spins on its axis. Fact 19. Alaska has more active volcanoes than the rest of the United States combined. The Aleutian Island chain, a 1,200-mile arc of brooding volcanic islands stretching toward Russia, sits directly on one of the most violently active subduction zones on Earth. Alaska has over 130 volcanoes. More than 50 are considered active. That is more than every other American state combined. On any given day, multiple Alaskan volcanoes are venting gas, producing minor eruptions, or registering elevated seismic activity. Cleveland volcano erupts so regularly that the scientific community has essentially stopped being surprised. Augustine erupted in 2006. Redoubt erupted in 2009. The entire southern edge of Alaska is a chain of active volcanoes taking turns. Alaska is the volcanic zone. Fact 18. The largest wave ever recorded in human history happened in Alaska, and almost nobody witnessed it. On July 9, 1958, an earthquake sent 90 million tons of rock plunging from 3,000 feet directly into Leecha Bay. The impact generated a wave that surged up the opposite hillside to a height of 1,720 feet. That is taller than the Empire State Building. It stripped every tree, every plant, and every layer of soil from the hillside, as if the ocean itself had taken a pressure washer to it. 3 fishing boats were anchored in the bay. One was carried completely over the headland on the crest of the wave. 2 sank. The wave was so extreme it required its own scientific classification, a mega-tsunami. It was the largest, most violent wave in recorded human history, in a remote Alaskan bay, witnessed by almost no one. To 17, Alaska has forests that are visibly, unmistakably drunk. Across the Kenai Peninsula and much of interior Alaska, thousands of acres of ancient spruce forest are dying in real time. The permafrost beneath them, ground that has been continuously frozen for thousands of years, is thawing. When permafrost thaws, the ground shifts, tilts, and collapses without warning. Trees that have stood for generations begin to lean at wild, chaotic angles in every direction as the soil liquefies beneath their roots. Locals call them drunk forests. From a distance, they look like a crowd that has collectively lost its footing. Up close, they are something more unsettling, a vast, silent landscape actively falling apart. Alaska is warming faster than almost anywhere on Earth. The drunk forests are spreading. Fact 16. Alaska has more brown bears per square mile than anywhere else on Earth. Katmai National Park is home to over 2,200 brown bears, roughly 1 bear for every square mile of the park. During the annual salmon run at Brooks Falls, as many as 60 bears gather at a single waterfall to intercept fish leaping upstream. 60 at one waterfall. Simultaneously, each one weighing up to 1,500 pounds. They have developed elaborate social hierarchies. The largest, most dominant bears claim the premium fishing positions. Younger bears wait their turn. Juveniles watch from a respectful distance and learn. It is less a feeding frenzy and more a functioning society. A society of enormous apex predators operating by unwritten rules that human researchers are still working to fully understand. Alaska has more bears than the rest of North America combined, and 60 of them are at one waterfall right now. Fact 15. The capital of the largest state in America cannot be reached by road. Juneau is the capital of Alaska. It has a governor's mansion, a state legislature, courthouses, airports, and 30,000 residents. And it is completely, stubbornly, magnificently unreachable by road. Between Juneau and the rest of Alaska lies the Juneau Ice Field, a 1,500 square mile mass of ancient glacial ice that blankets the coast mountains to depths of 4,000 feet. There is no road through it, and there is no road around it. Engineers have studied the problem for decades and abandoned it every time. If you want to reach the capital of the largest state in America, you have exactly 2 options. You fly, or you arrive by sea. That is it. The capital of Alaska is more geographically isolated than most island nations. And in the 67 years since Alaska became a state, nobody has fixed it. Fact 14. In Alaska, you can walk across frozen ocean from today into tomorrow. 2 small islands sit in the Bering Strait between Alaska and Russia. Little Diomede, American soil, population 83. Big Diomede, Russian soil, has had a population of 0 since 1948. They are 2.4 miles apart. On a clear day, you can see one from the other with your naked eyes. Between them runs the international date line, the invisible boundary where one calendar day ends and the next one begins. When it is Monday on Little Diomede, it is already Tuesday on Big Diomede. You are looking at tomorrow from today. In winter, when the strait freezes solid, you could walk it. Step off American soil on Monday, cross 2.4 miles of frozen ocean, and arrive in Russia on Tuesday. In 1948, the Soviet Union forcibly evacuated every person living on Big Diomede and converted the island into a military base. For 40 years, American civilians on Little Diomede went about their daily lives while Soviet soldiers stared back from the island, clearly visible from their windows. The shortest distance between the United States and Russia is 2.4 miles of ice. People call them Yesterday Island and Tomorrow Island, because that is exactly what they are. Fact 13. Alaska has more lakes than the entire rest of the world combined. Alaska contains over 3 million lakes. 3 million. The entire rest of the planet, every country, every continent, every body of water everywhere else on Earth contains fewer documented lakes than the single state of Alaska. Thousands of years of glacial activity carved basins, blocked rivers, and left depressions that filled with meltwater across the vast Alaskan interior. From the air, Alaska looks like someone shattered an enormous mirror into 3 million jagged pieces and left them scattered across the landscape. Many of these lakes have never been named. A significant number have never had a single human being set foot on their shores. 3 million lakes. Most of them completely unknown. All of them in one state. Fact 12. Alaska has a river that runs the color of milky milk and turns electric turquoise in sunlight. The Matanuska River in south-central Alaska does not look like water. It runs a thick, opaque, pale blue-white, the color of diluted milk, or something that has no business coming out of the ground. You cannot see your hand 6 inches below the surface. The color comes from glacial flour. The Matanuska Glacier above this river weighs billions of tons. As it inches forward, it grinds the bedrock beneath it the same way a millstone grinds grain. Except instead of flour, it produces rock dust so impossibly, microscopically fine that it remains permanently suspended in the meltwater and never sinks. That powder travels downstream and turns the entire river white. When sunlight strikes it at the right angle, it shifts to a vivid, almost artificial turquoise, the color of something from another planet entirely. A glacier is actively grinding a mountain into powder upstream right now and sending the evidence down this river. Fact 11. The highest mountain in North America manufactures its own violent weather and kills people with it. Denali rises 20,310 feet above sea level. But most of the world's great peaks rise from elevated plateaus already thousands of feet above sea level. Denali rises almost from sea level, giving it one of the greatest vertical rises of any mountain on Earth, from base to summit. A mountain that enormous, climbing that steeply from flat ground, acts as a colossal wall, slamming into passing weather systems and generating its own savage independent storms with no connection to surrounding conditions. Summit winds exceed 150 miles per hour. Temperatures plunge below -75 degrees Fahrenheit. Experienced, fully equipped climbers die on Denali every single year, not because it is the tallest mountain in the world, but because the brutal, relentless weather it manufactures is unlike anything found anywhere else on Earth. Denali does not just sit in Alaska, it controls the atmosphere above it. Fact 10. A single earthquake permanently rewrote a living Alaskan ecosystem, and it is still rewriting it 60 years later. When the 1964 Mega-quake struck, it raised the Copper River Delta by up to 11 feet in a matter of seconds. Marine saltwater habitat that had existed for thousands of years was violently lifted above the waterline overnight. The tidal flats, the estuaries, the ocean-flooded wetlands were gone. Freshwater plants moved in, and freshwater microbes replaced marine ones. An entirely new food chain assembled itself from nothing, on land that had been seafloor the morning before. Research published in 2025 confirmed the delta's ecosystem is still actively responding, still reorganizing, still becoming something new 6 full decades after the ground stopped shaking. 4 minutes and 42 seconds. 60 years of consequences. Still ongoing. Fact 9. Every summer in Alaska, rivers turn so red with salmon, you can reach in and pick one up with your bare hands. Every June and July, sockeye salmon pour out of the Pacific Ocean and into Alaska's rivers by the tens of millions. In Bristol Bay alone, 56.5 million sockeye returned in a single year, the second highest ever recorded. As they enter fresh water, their bodies undergo a violent transformation. They go from silver ocean fish to burning brick red with vivid green heads. They are driven by an instinct so powerful, they stop eating entirely and run on stored fat alone until they spawn and die. At peak run, 100,000 salmon can enter a single river in a single day. The water disappears beneath them. In smaller creeks, the fish pack so densely you can reach down and pull one out with your hands. Bears line the banks and barely need to try. They wade in and stand there with their mouths open. Eagles circle. The river runs red from bank to bank. When the run ends, every single fish dies, releasing a flood of marine nutrients into the forest soil, feeding the trees, completing a cycle that has run without interruption for millions of years. Alaska does not just have a salmon run, it has the largest wild salmon run left on Earth. Fact 8. Alaska's fisheries feed a significant portion of the entire planet. Alaska produces approximately 60% of all seafood caught in the United States, more than every other state combined. Over 5 billion pounds of salmon, pollock, halibut, crab, and cod every single year, feeding America, Japan, China, and Europe simultaneously. The engine behind this staggering abundance is the Bering Sea Shelf, a vast, shallow underwater plateau where cold, nutrient-saturated water upwells from the deep ocean and fuels one of the most productive marine food chains on Earth. 5 billion pounds. Every year, from one state. Alaska does not just fish. Alaska feeds continents. Fact 7. The northern lights in Alaska are not just visible. They make sound. Alaska sits directly beneath the auroral oval, the churning ring around the magnetic pole where charged solar particles slam into the atmosphere with the greatest intensity. During major solar storms, the aurora in Alaska does not gently glow. It pulses, it writhes, it explodes across the entire sky from horizon to horizon in cascading curtains of green, red, and violent violet, shifting and morphing in real time. But here is what stops people cold. Observers standing beneath the most intense displays have reported hearing a faint, uncanny crackling and hissing from the sky above them. Scientists have confirmed this is real, caused by electrostatic discharges near the ground surface during extreme auroral activity. The northern lights in Alaska are not a light show. They are a full sensory, electromagnetic planetary event happening directly over your head. And they are free. Take that, every concert you have ever paid for. Fact 6. Alaska is warming twice as fast as the rest of the planet, and entire communities are disappearing into the ground. Alaska has warmed more than 4 degrees Fahrenheit since 1950, more than double the global average. This is not an abstract number. The village of Newtok has been sinking into liquefying permafrost for decades. The frozen ground it was built on, frozen solid for thousands of years, is melting. Every home, every building, every resident had to be physically relocated to higher ground as the land beneath them collapsed. Newtok is not an outlier. Dozens of Alaskan villages face identical fates. Roads buckle and crack. Buildings tilt at sickening angles. Coastlines crumble into the rising sea. Alaska is not bracing for climate change. Alaska is already deep inside the version of it that the rest of the world has not yet arrived at. Fact 5. Alaska has a rainforest with trees older than the Magna Carta. The Tongass National Forest in southeast Alaska is 17 million acres of ancient, dripping, cathedral-dark temperate rainforest, the largest national forest in the United States by a significant margin. Some of the massive Sitka spruce growing there are over 800 years old. They were saplings when Genghis Khan was still conquering Asia. The forest floor is so impossibly thick with moss and decomposing organic material that it functions like a living sponge, absorbing rainfall and feeding the rivers that carry the largest runs of wild salmon left in the world. Those salmon spawn, die, and decompose in the forest rivers. Bears drag the rotting carcasses deep into the trees. The decaying fish fertilize the soil. The forest grows taller. The ocean feeding the forest, feeding the bears, feeding the forest, is a cycle so ancient and so elegant it has been running without interruption for millions of years. Fact 4. There is a Sahara Desert above the Arctic Circle in Alaska, and NASA uses it to study Mars. Picture golden sand dunes rising 100 feet high, rolling across 25 square miles of open desert, with dense Arctic forest pressing in on one side and snow-capped peaks looming on the other. This is the Great Kobuk Sand Dunes in northwest Alaska, sitting 35 miles above the Arctic Circle. In winter, temperatures collapse to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. In summer, the heat radiating off these dunes regularly hits 100 degrees. A staggering 140-degree seasonal temperature swing in the Arctic. The dunes were born when glaciers ground the surrounding mountains into fine sand over thousands of years, and relentless winds piled it into this improbable desert. Fewer than 20,000 people visit each year, which is fewer than a single NFL preseason game draws. NASA has studied these dunes as a direct analog for polar sand dunes on Mars. And scientists developed the satellite-based tracking techniques they now use to monitor dune movement on the surface of another planet, right here in the Kobuk Valley, a Sahara Desert, in the Arctic, used to understand Mars. Almost nobody knows it exists. Fact 3. Dinosaurs lived above the Arctic Circle in Alaska in months of complete darkness, and scientists still cannot explain how. Above the Arctic Circle in northern Alaska, paleontologists have found thousands of dinosaur tracks, bones, and fossils pressed into ancient rock. Hadrosaurs, raptors, tyrannosaurs were not just passing through, they were living here, permanently. During the Cretaceous period, 70 to 100 million years ago, this region sat even further north than it does today, at a latitude that would have meant months of total polar darkness every winter. No sunlight, and temperatures dropping below freezing. And yet the fossil record shows dense, thriving, diverse dinosaur populations surviving these conditions year after year. How remains an open question. Scientists genuinely do not know. They could not hibernate. No creature that size physiologically can. They could not migrate far enough south to escape the darkness in the time available. Whether they were warm-blooded, heavily feathered, or adapted to polar night in some way not yet understood is still actively debated. One site in northwest Alaska was described by its own discoverer as just crazy rich with dinosaur footprints, tracks pressed into ancient mud for 400 continuous yards in every direction. The footprints are still there. The answer is not. Fact 2. Alaska has more airports than roads and entire cities that can only be reached by plane. Alaska has approximately 17,000 miles of roads. Rhode Island, a state you can drive across in 45 minutes, has more paved road than Alaska. But Alaska has roughly 500 airports and airstrips, per capita more than any other state in the United States, comparable in sheer number to California, despite having less than 2% of its population. This is not a quirk or a coincidence. It is raw survival. Hundreds of Alaskan communities have no road connection to anywhere on Earth. No highway in, no highway out. Food, medicine, mail, and fuel arrive exclusively by air. When weather grounds the plains, the town is simply cut off from the world. Children fly to school. Patients fly to hospitals. In rural Alaska, a pilot's license is considerably more useful than a driver's license. Alaska did not solve its road problem. It built 500 airports instead. Fact 1. Alaska contains land that has never been touched by a human hand. There are places in Alaska, specific, locatable, mappable coordinates on the surface of this Earth, where no human being has ever stood. Valleys deep in the Brooks Range. Remote islands in the Bering Sea. Vast stretches of interior wilderness, so brutally difficult to reach that in the entire recorded history of human civilization, nobody has been there. Not explorers, not hunters, not scientists. Nobody. In 2026, with satellites imaging every square inch of the planet, with GPS in every pocket, with commercial aircraft crossing Alaska daily at 35,000 feet. There is still land on this continent that has never felt the weight of a single human footstep. It is in Alaska, and there is considerably more of it than you would ever believe. Bonus fact: the Alaska Triangle, where people vanish and are never found. We have been building to this. Every fact in this video has shown you a place operating by entirely different rules, phantom cities materializing in the sky, a perfectly round, unexplained hole, an unknown creature sitting unnamed in a Smithsonian lab. But what we are about to tell you does not fit any of those categories. This is not geology. This is not atmospheric science. This is not wildlife. This is something that has been exhaustively documented, officially investigated, and left completely, stubbornly, without explanation for decades. If you are the kind of person who needs a rational answer before you can sleep, you should probably know that going in, because there is no rational answer. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Since 1988, over 16,000 people have gone missing in Alaska. That number is not a typo. 16,000 people, in a state with fewer than 750,000 residents, a missing persons rate more than 5 times the national average. Many disappearances have entirely conventional explanations: extreme wilderness, catastrophic weather, small aircraft accidents in terrain so remote that wreckage is simply never found. But a disproportionate, deeply unsettling number of disappearances cluster inside a specific geographic zone, stretching from Juneau in the southeast to Anchorage in the south to Barrow in the north. Researchers and investigators have come to call this zone the Alaska Triangle. In 1972, House Majority Leader Hale Boggs and Congressman Nick Begich boarded a small Cessna 310 in Anchorage bound for Juneau. They flew directly into the triangle. The U.S. military responded with one of the largest search and rescue operations ever mounted in Alaskan history. 40 aircraft, 325,000 square miles of search area, 36 consecutive days of searching. They found nothing. Not the plane, not the passengers, not a single fragment of debris, not one screw. The official investigation was eventually closed with no conclusion reached. They were never found. The Tlingit people of Alaska have their own ancient explanation. They speak of the Kushtaka, shape-shifting creatures that haunt the wilderness, mimicking the desperate voices of loved ones to lure the unwary deeper and deeper into the forest until they are never seen again. Scientists have proposed geomagnetic anomalies that disable navigation equipment, infrasound from the mountain ranges that induce disorientation and panic, and the sheer incomprehensible scale of the wilderness itself. None of these explanations fully accounts for the pattern. None of them explains why experienced bush pilots, seasoned wilderness guides, and trained search and rescue professionals, people who know this landscape better than almost anyone alive, vanish from it without leaving a single identifiable trace behind. 16,000 people. Since 1988. In one state. Gone without explanation. The Alaska Triangle is not a legend or a ghost story. It is a number sitting in a government database. And every year, that number gets larger. And before you go, we want to know two things. First, which fact genuinely stopped you in your tracks? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. Second, we are already deep in research for the next video, and we want you to decide what it is. Would you rather hear 25 unhinged facts about California that sound completely made up? Or 25 wild facts about the border between the United States and Mexico that nobody ever talks about? Or 50 insane facts about the American West that will change how you see the United States? 3 options. You pick. Whatever gets the most comments wins. We will see you in the next one.